Soliana, the City of Water, once governed by a constitutional monarchy, and now under the heel of Lord Eggman. This is where Silver the Hedgehog and Blaze the Cat now find themselves. They're both here to destroy the Death Egg in Wave Ocean, but before they could begin their assault, they had to come up with a plan. Maybe if I attack the West Wing, you can break into the Death Egg from the east. I'm not going to let you fight an entire army alone, Silver. Besides, there's no guarantee there won't be guards on my end as well. You're right. Well, maybe if we do an all-out attack, we'll most definitely be overrun. Yeah. Do you have any ideas? Well, if the Soul Emeralds weren't extinguished, I'd be able to turn to Burning Blaze and enter the Death Egg without any issue. But in their current darkened state, it's too dangerous to try. If only I could figure out how to fix them. I'm sure you will, Blaze. Until then, I'm sure we can find another way to break into the... But before Silver could complete his thought, the pair heard running and clanking of metal in the streets below. Commanders Q-Bot and Orbot, with a battalion of egg pawns, were in hot pursuit of a lady in a white dress.
All right there, rebel scum, or we'll have to shoot you.
Q-Bot, remember your manners. Princess of Soliana, please halt, or we will have to shoot you.
My father's kingdom will not fall to the likes of the Eggman Empire, and I will not back down.
Well, we gave her a fair chance. Open fire.
Fire was indeed spread, but not from the egg pawns. Blaze leaped off of the rooftop with Silver and destroyed all of the egg pawns.
Q-Bot, I think it's time for us to make a tactical retreat.
No time for that! Let's get out of here!
And with that, the two robots ran off to safety. The princess ran over to the rebel heroes.
Thank you both so much. I thought I was done for.
All in a day's work, ma'am. Your Highness.
Please. My title may be Princess, but you may call me Elise. I take it you two are part of the Resistance?
Blaze nodded. Yes, we're looking for a flying fortress known as the Death Egg. Have you heard of it? Elise seemed to flinch a bit at the mention of that Death Egg, but recomposed herself.
Yes, I've heard of the Death Egg. When Eggman arrived and declared himself ruler of Soliana, my father and his army fought back. Little did they know the firepower that base held. Since his death, I led my father's army to try and defeat the Eggman, but any attempt against his empire has been swiftly defeated by a black and red devil.
Silver and Blaze knew exactly who she was referring to.
Shadow. Don't worry, from one world to another, I understand what it's like to fight for your people. We will assist you.
Elise smiled.
Thank you both.
She then unveiled a gemstone she possessed.
Here, my father gave me this before he said it was a good luck charm. Right now, I think you two could use it.
It was no mere lucky charm. It was, in fact, a Chaos Emerald.
But it seems duller than usual. Curious. It seems that whatever's affecting the Soul Emeralds must be having a similar effect on the Chaos Emeralds.
Still, I'm sure it'll help us. Thank you, Your Highness. We won't let you down.
We promise that we will save your kingdom from the tyranny of Eggman.
With that, the pair of heroes set off to track down the Death Egg. Elise raised her arm.
Good luck, you two. Godspeed.
As the pair raced towards Wave Ocean, Silver couldn't help but comment. Hey, Blaze, does all this feel familiar?
No, it feels perfectly normal to me.
It's probably just a time travel thing.
We can worry about deja vu later, Silver. Now, I think I've come up with a strategy for us to break into the Death Egg. First, we need to...
As the heroes conversed, they did notice a mysterious figure watching them from a distance. Elsewhere, Amy Rose and the Rookie were breaking into the Death Egg, looming over Lost Valley. They didn't have time to be stealthy, as they quickly made their way towards the prison hall. Security tried to stop the rebels, but they were quickly destroyed by Amy's Pico Pico hammer. She wasn't about to let anything stop her from saving Sonic. The rookie made sure just to stay out of her way. All right, Sonic should be around here somewhere. The rookie signed, asking how she knew. Well, let's just say I have a lot of experience tracking him down. A weak voice came across the room. You got that right, Ames. There was Sonic, shackled and beaten, but his spirit still hanging on. The heroes ran over to the cell. Amy was overjoyed to see her darling Sonic in one piece, while the rookie attempted to put in as many codes as he could think of, trying to unlock the cell. But before he could find the correct code, a large thud could be heard behind them.
You two made a grave mistake coming here. Now, die at the hands of Zavok.
Amy raised her hammer. She wasn't about to give up on Sonic after getting so close. Without a second's notice, the battle began between the Rose and the Zeddy. As the combatants began swinging at each other, Zavok sounded more annoyed than engaged.
Cease this nonsense. I vanquished hundreds of foes stronger than you before you were even conceived. You don't stand a chance, child.
Zavok's words were cut short as Amy smacked him right in the skull. She continued wailing on the Zeddy, blow after blow from her Pico Pico hammer. But these blows simply enraged Zavok as he finally lashed out, smacking Amy against a wall.
Perhaps I underestimated you, child.
Trust me, jerk, you did! Amy whipped out her hammer and began spinning rapidly, forming a small tornado in the center of the arena. As the fight carried on, the rookie kept typing in codes, trying to free Sonic, until eventually, it finally worked. Gadget deactivated Sonic's shackles and opened up the cell doors. Without a moment's hesitation, Sonic raced into the battle, engaging Zavok directly. Amy was overjoyed to see her hero, but before she could say anything, Sonic began wailing on Zavok, laying deadly blow after deadly blow. Punch, kick, uppercut, homing attack, until Zavok fell to the ground. Sonic was no longer sporting his signature smirk. He simply looked down at the Zeddy, breathing heavily, with a scowl of animalistic aggression. This was personal. Amy had never seen this side of Sonic. Sonic? Sonic quickly snapped out of it. Sorry about that. Good to see you, Ames. And you too, pal. Glad to see you're doing well. The rookie smiled at this, before gesturing towards the exit. Right, let's get everyone out of here, then blow this popsicle stand. And with that, they opened up the rest of the cells, leading the rest of the Resistance prisoners all the way to the exits before blowing the Death Egg to smithereens. Once they were at a safe distance, the heroes began to discuss what had happened the last 6 months. Hold on, so you're the leader of the Resistance? Huh. Well, ain't that something? I'm proud of you, Ames. Thanks. So, Sonic, about what happened on the Death Egg, are you... Sonic's body seemed to tense up with the question. I'm fine, Amy. Let's just focus on the war effort. Amy wanted to ask more, but she got an emergency call on her radio. It was from Commander Tower. Commander Rose, I hear you secured the package. Yes, Sonic is okay. That's good to hear, because we have unconfirmed sightings of your two-tailed friend heading towards a laboratory in Soliana. Upon hearing this, Sonic blasted off at the speed of sound, racing towards Soliana. Gadget seemed a bit alarmed at Sonic's outburst. Amy cautiously chuckled. He, has a tendency to like to run ahead. I'll catch up with him. You head back to base. With that, Amy set off, following Sonic towards the City of Water. On the sandy beaches of Wave Ocean, Silver and Blaze could see the Death Egg overhead. They also spotted a particular black and red hedgehog standing on the beach, ready to crush the intruders. All right, Shadow, what's the deal? Shadow didn't respond. Very well. If you don't want to explain yourself, then get out of our way.
In response, Shadow ignited his air shoes and rocketed towards the pair. The duo, expecting this, took action. Though Shadow was marginally faster, Blaze was able to keep pace, blocking him off with trails of fire. While Shadow was boxed in, Silver used his psychokinesis to grab the hedgehog. The Shadow tried to escape, but Silver held strong. "It's no use, Shadow. I got you." The Shadow became enraged, began glowing red, and before Silver could react, he enunciated the words, "Chaos Blast!" A violent display of chaos energy erupted outward, sending Silver and Blaze flying. Crap, that didn't work. Time for Plan B.
Plan B? We didn't discuss a...
Blaze looked in horror. Silver unveiled the darkened Chaos Emerald.
Silver, don't! It's too unstable to...
But it was too late. The unstable, dark chaos energy began to flow through Silver. In a flash of light, Silver's aura turned dark, his eyes whitened, and his aggression rised. He quickly induced chaos control, slowing down the flow of time, kicking Shadow in the back of the head, before knocking him onto the ground, only to pick him up with his psychokinesis and slam him into the sand again and again, each blow harder than the last. "I won't let you hurt anyone else. Not Blaze, not me, not anyone."
Silver!
Silver looked over to his partner.
It's done. You can stop now.
Hearing her words, Silver returned to normal. His boosted form ceased. Blaze? Sorry about that. I don't know what came over me.
Just don't worry me like that in the future. Come on, let's get going.
But before they could leave, Shadow returned to his feet. Though the attack from that dark Silver had been a lot, he still had enough energy to defeat 2 rebels. But he wasn't prepared for a third. Shadow was suddenly hit hard with a hyper-go-on hammer, sending him onto the ground, knocked out. Silver and Blaze were in shock and awe of their mysterious savior. The mysterious masked figure looked down at the fallen Shadow. She was waiting for any sign of movement, but it appeared as if Shadow the Hedgehog had been defeated once and for all. She quietly said something inaudible to her fallen opponent, when suddenly Silver raced over eagerly. "Wow, you took him out with 1 hit! That's amazing, ma'am!" The mysterious warrior didn't respond. She simply tugged her mask closer to her face. Was it something I said?
Let me take it from here, Silver. Greetings, I am Blaze, Princess of the Soul Dimension. May I ask who you are?
The warrior remained quiet for but a moment.
Whisper.
Oh, sorry, were we being too loud?
I believe that is her name, Silver.
Oh.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Whisper. Without your assistance, I fear we may have been in some tough water. It wasn't anything that amazing.
Silver perked up. Are you kidding? You were amazing with that thing. I was in trouble, but you jumped in and saved me like a guardian angel.
Whisper tilted her mask slightly to the side. I'm happy I could be of help.
Blaze glanced at Whisper's weapon. It was a Wispon.
Are you part of the Resistance?
No.
I work solo these days.
As if to correct her false statement, a series of wisps flew out from her coat. They began to speak to her in their native tongue.
What? No, look, when I work with you, that's different, but... Look, I'm not ready for a team yet.
Though Silver and Blaze couldn't understand the aliens, it seemed as if the Wisp were in favor of the team-up.
Look, I understand. I used to be the same way. I felt I needed to carry the weight of the world on my shoulders. But I learned it's good to keep company you can rely on. If you want to stay here, that's fine. But if we are going to defeat Robotnik, we need to work together.
Whisper glanced at her weapon and to her wisp, before sighing and stating,
Okay. I'll come with you for one mission.
Cool! That's great. Okay. Come on, that death egg won't destroy itself. As Silver flew off into the distance, the girls were left alone. Whisper was silent. Blaze thought she knew what Whisper was thinking.
I know he can be a bit much, but you grow to love his naivete. Come on, let's keep up.
With that, the princess took off at fiery speeds, and Whisper followed with her hover wisp. Elsewhere, Sonic was racing around Soliana in search of Tails. Come on. The commander said he should be around here somewhere. Sonic raced around the castle ruin several times in hopes of finding some secret entrance to an Eggman laboratory. Come on! He's gotta be here somewhere. Sonic! The familiar voice of Amy Rose caught Sonic's attention.
Sonic, will you please slow down? You left me and Gadget all the way on South Island.
Sonic merely paused for a moment before racing around the ruins once more in search of something, anything, that could give him a hint to where Eggman's base is. Seeing that he wasn't going to listen to reason, Amy took out her hammer and smashed it into the ground. The shockwave felt as if it had shooken the entire kingdom, and as such, she had finally gotten Sonic's full attention. Look, Amy, it's great to see you again, but right now, I need to find Eggman and put an end to this war quick.
I get that, but Sonic, you just spent 6 months on the Death Egg. You need to give yourself time to recover.
I don't have time, Amy.
Please, do it for me. At least give yourself a second to...
A second? Amy, I don't have a second to spare. When I hesitate, people get hurt. And I'll be damned if I let that happen again. So you can either keep up or you can get out of my... Amy gave a soft but firm smack. Ames, you...
I'm sorry, but you have to listen to me. Nobody expects you to be perfect. Nobody. You don't have to carry this weight alone. You have friends that can help you. I can help you. You just need to slow down and let us. Even if you feel like you need to face this, you don't have to do it alone. Tails wouldn't want you to do this alone.
Sonic paused for a moment. You always know what to say, Amy. Amy approached slowly.
Yeah, I try my best.
She went in for a hug. Sonic let it happen. You know I still have to find him, right?
I know, but I'm here to help you. So, don't feel like you have to take the burden alone.
Thanks, Ames.
Besides, between the two of us, I know where he actually is.
Wait, you do?
Yep, the commander gave us further information. You would have known about it too if he didn't run off.
Point taken.
Now, let's go help Blaze and Silver. If you can keep up, that is.
A race, then? Fine, I'll give you a head start. As Amy took off, Sonic took a deep breath before exhaling, all of his confidence disappearing with it. He wasn't sure what he would say when he finally met Tails again. Elsewhere, Silver lifted his teammates high into the air towards the Death Egg. To their surprise, there was very little security left. It appeared Shadow had been their main source of defense. I guess a full frontal assault wouldn't have been a bad idea.
We still don't know what's aboard that ship, Silver. When we get there, we move through the shadows.
Right. Come on, you two. Let's do this. Once aboard the Death Egg, the trio found that the base was surprisingly understaffed. However, they made sure to silently dispatch any robots they did come across, just to be sure. Eventually, they made their way to the main laboratory.
All right, We can use the computers here to overload the reactor and destroy this death egg from the inside out. All right, let's do this. Whisper, can you watch the door? Got it.
The wolf took up a sniping position from the ventilation shaft as the cat and hedgehog ventured deeper into the laboratory and could hear a voice in the distance. Commander Orbot, collect all the remaining Phantom Ruby prototypes slated for destruction.
Of course, Infinite. But why do you need them?
Well, the doctor has given me orders to personally oversee their disposal.
Strange. I wasn't informed of this. I'll call the boss and be sure.
Are you questioning my authority, Commander?
No, sir. I'll get you that right away.
Good help is so hard to find. Wouldn't you agree, Princess? The pair of heroes were caught off guard, but took up defensive positions. Tails, stand down.
I'm really getting tired of people calling me that. But I must admit, your combined skills at the chemical plant were mildly impressive. So I'll give you this one chance. Join our empire. I have big plans, and I'm sure Lord Eggman will forgive your transgressions in the past.
We'd never work for Eggman.
But you can still come back with us, Tails.
The fox gritted his teeth. The name is Infinite. If you will not join me, then I'm afraid I'll have to. Before the fox could complete his thought, Sonic the Hedgehog raced into the room, followed closely by Amy Rose. Tails, please, listen to us.
We're here for you. Fascinating. Seems Sonic has escaped. I take it you two hot-wired an egg pod to get here?
Yeah, I know a thing or two about planes. Don't you remember? You, me, the tornado? Don't you remember any of that?
Infinite paused for a moment.
I haven't the foggiest clue of whatever you're talking about. Nor do I care. I am Infinite, and you are all enemies of the Eggman Empire. Now, I would enjoy ripping the four of you apart, but sadly I'm on a tight schedule today. So instead, one of my lackeys will do it in my place. Infinite's mask suddenly clamped shut. Witness the ultimate power. The quartet of heroes were suddenly blinded by a red flash of light. As their eyes readjusted, a black and crimson figure stood in front of them.
Now, rebels, I really must be going. Shadow, give them my best.
As the fox quickly warped away, the shadowy figure stared down the rebels in front of him. As the grim sentinel began to charge up a chaos spear in his right palm, the heroes knew this was going to be a hard-fought... The black hedgehog stumbled backwards. It glared down at its stomach, where a gaping hole was now found. Without uttering a word, Shadow collapsed to the ground, dead. The quartet looked back to see who was responsible for this, only to see Whisper, who had finished off their former friend. Her face was completely obscured by her mask, but judging by the way she was fiddling with her weapon, it was clear she wasn't done with Shadow. You're staying dead this time. Before anyone could react, she charged forward, activated her blue cube, and slammed her warhammer down onto Shadow's body. Over and over again. Every booming thud was met with the cracking of bones. Shadow was completely unrecognizable, but Whisper still wasn't satisfied. She continued to slam her weapon into the ground, even after the Wisp-On abilities had ceased. She didn't even notice the weapon itself begin to break. All she cared about was making sure that Shadow suffered. She only stopped as she felt herself become weightless. Silver, using his psychokinesis, suspended her in the air. Guardian Angel! Whisper! Please, stop! He's down! The wolf's mask began to slip off as she began muttering to herself.
No, let me go. He can't get back up. Not again.
Listen, lady, I'm not Shadow's biggest fan right now, but you need to cool it.
Cool it? That monster, he took everything from me.
Is that so? The gang turned to see none other than another Shadow? The gang were dumbfounded. How could there be two Shadows? And more pressingly, who was the real one? With everyone's attention stolen, Whisper, being the strategist she was, saw an opportunity and broke free from Silver's control.
I don't know what's going on, or what the hell you are. I don't care. You're going to pay for everything.
As the wolf marched closer and closer to Shadow, the ultimate life form stared her directly in the eyes and felt as if he was looking into a mirror. I know that look. You lost someone, didn't you?
You don't get to ask.
I know the feeling. It's cold, numb, as if your world was shattering. I know what it's like to lose someone you care for.
Don't pretend to understand. They were everything I had.
Whisper pulled out a photograph, holding it to Shadow's face.
Slinger, Claire, Mimic, Smitty. They were my family. And you killed them. And you can't even remember.
I promise you, it wasn't me.
I can't trust you. I don't know if you're real, and I don't care. I'll kill every one of you until all of you Shadows are dead. And this pain is finally gone.
Whisper raised her weapon. The heroes were about to jump in, but Shadow raised his palm, as if to tell them to stand down. If you believe killing me, all of me, will make the pain go away, you can take the shot. But I truly am sorry for what happened. Whisper stood there for a moment, gun still trained on Shadow. Then she dropped her weapon. She fell to the ground and finally took off her mask. As tears began to stream down her face, months of pent-up rage and sorrow finally were let out. As Whisper's walls finally began to collapse, she muttered out 2 words. I'm sorry. It's all right. I know better than most that grief could be a very powerful motivator. After recollecting themselves, the 6 heroes made their way to the main core of the Death Egg. As they approached, Amy spoke up. So, Shadow, where have you been the last 6 months? Well, before this all began, I was trying to find Sonic to inform him of what happened to Tails. It seemed Eggman got to him first. So for the last 6 months, I've been traveling the globe, destroying Eggman outposts, and, well, now I'm here.
That sounds so lonely. Why didn't you ever come to the Resistance? We could have helped you.
Be honest with me, Commander Rose. Would you have believed me after what my double did? After the innocents he slaughtered? Amy didn't get a chance to respond as they arrived at the core. The heroes discovered what had been powering this Death Egg. 2 Chaos Emeralds, the yellow and the silver one. Yet, just like the blue emerald Silver had, the emerald's color was faded, and their energy signal felt different. But that wasn't the most interesting thing they'd find in the room. It turned out this Death Egg had been used for experiments Eggman didn't want the public to know about. The resistance members looked through the computer and came across a peculiar file. Hey, has anyone here ever heard of the Phantom Ruby?